In the Belvedere in Vienna, and we're looking at Gustav Klimt's The Kiss from 1908, probably the most famous Klimt. And actually I have to admit that I had forgotten that the painting was almost a perfect square because I've seen it in so many posters where it's been cut down and made into a rectangle.
It's a very large painting, and there's so much gold that it's hard not to think of a religious icon. And I think in some ways Klimt was trying to create a modern icon, something that suggested a sense of transcendence.
Well, there's no question that the gold here makes you think of the Byzantine tradition, maybe some of the tile work at Ravenna. There is the way that patterning, especially around the faces, becomes a kind of halo as well. You have Klimt building up the gold. He's got those gold circles. They actually rise off the surface of the canvas.
And catch the light, much the way that the gold was tooled in medieval paintings.
There is the sense of the male figure of patterns that are rectilinear in contrast to the curvilinear, to the circles and the ovals that we see in the female form. But the point that you made about the sense of the spiritual is so powerful in this painting. I think we forget that that darker gold ground seems so much as if the figures are somehow being dissipated into the cosmos, that they are so lost in the intensity, the eternity of that kiss.
And all removed from the everyday world. I mean, we have to remember that this is a time of incredible modernization in Vienna. The city of Vienna has been transformed in the previous 30 years into a modern city. Here, Klimt is abstracting a universal experience from the trauma, the difficulties, the anxieties of everyday life. I think it's also important to see this in relationship to Klimt's Beethoven frieze, where the figures confront evil forces, these mythic figures. And in the end, there's this embrace, this kiss, this emergence from evil into fulfillment and perfection.
Something is always happening. But when it happens, people don't always see it, or understand it, or accept it.
And of course, they're both crowned. On his head, you can see a wreath of leaves. On hers, almost as if they were the stars of the heavens. Klimt seems to be reaching out to a truth that is for all time, that is so aestheticized, it feels as if it has a degree of absolute permanence.
It's very important that you follow the steps of your spiritual progress. We, you and I, have a great mission. We shouldn't forget that.
I'm staring into the valley of hell with a cross on my heart and smoke on my breath. We are outnumbered, but I'm not scared. I'm ready to die, shoot my soul through the sky. Father, forgive us for what we may do. Sometimes we lie when we search for the truth. We sell who we are 'cause we don't want to lose. I hear the heroes calling out my name. In Valhalla they wait, preparing my place. I take fire from the edge of the sun. Put the crown on my head. Either way I have won. Father, forgive us for what we have done. We have to finish what we have begun and pray that tomorrow we may see the sun. There's a red dawn over the light of fate's delayed towns. Got us thinking while you still can. Focus my eyes for the collective. My friends, good luck, my friends.
We are now moving back through time.
But we were the only ones who sought the truth within ourselves.
Why didn't you shoot me?
You obeyed the orders. You obeyed.
Where's the guardian angel? Is he here? Does he protect you?
The guardian angel protects my family, yes.
The guardian angel wishes to speak to you. He will use this body to transform his speech. All of your failings are erased.
I saw you were awake. Mind if we talk?
No.
We are now moving back through time. I'm staring into the valley of hell with a cross on my heart and smoke on my breath. We are outnumbered, but I'm not scared. I'm ready to die, shoot my soul through the sky. Father, forgive us for what we may do. Sometimes we lie when we search for the truth. We sell who we are 'cause we don't want to lose. I hear the heroes calling out my name. In Valhalla they wait, preparing my place.
Poland. I used to help my friend who was a police officer. Through hypnosis, we could get witnesses to return to the scene of a crime in their minds and remember insignificant details more clearly. They were able to stop their memories in a precise given moment and identify the guilty one. It worked well, but then one witness faked his trance and named an innocent person in order to protect the real criminal.
You lost your reputation, huh?
I fucked up because of one little detail.
Something is always happening. But when it happens, people don't always see it, or understand it, or accept it.
I'd love to have been in the when they were discussing it. Shut up, you goddamn Frenchy, cheese-eating surrender monkey.
Poor bloke when he walked in that room.
Yeah.
Cheese-eating surrender monkeys. This is something that's always interested me, this bizarre idea that the French are somehow inferior in terms of military capacity and have a military history to be ashamed of.
Bonjour, you cheese-eating surrender monkeys!
Now, the historical record is pretty clear. France in 1940 surrendered to Germany, and the French army was in many ways a superior army to that of the Germans. Their tanks were better, their airplanes were at least as good as the German, and together the British and the French outnumbered the Germans in everything except aircraft. And yet, the French surrendered. Well, that's not the entire story, of course. And yes, the French were defeated in the early summer of 1940, but so were the British and the Canadians and anyone else who happened to be fighting in Europe at the time on the Allied side. And a historical detail that has to be included in all of this is that the Americans weren't even there. While the French and British were fighting the Nazis, the Americans were neutral. And the Americans then went on to recognize the Vichy government installed by Nazi Germany in France. That has to be mentioned.
Bonjour, you cheese-eating surrender monkeys!
Брави! Ай, Филюня, молодец!
Swimming! What? 20 minutes. Let's show mom.
Can you show me? Да.
Alright, let's go. Here I come. Go!
Вау! Ой, молодец, Филипп.
Very good! Let's show mom how you can swim.
Can you show me? Да.
Alright, let's go. Here I come. Well, like I told you yesterday, it became interesting. Get guys behind me, guys on the other side. Rush drivers behind me and in front. They tried to shoot at the car, at me, but they missed one. I'm doing it! I'm swimming!
Брави! Ай, Филюня, молодец!
You're swimming! So now we keep going. I called some of my guys that are close to my destination, so they can come down and check it out. Get me some little escort, because I have a big escort from the other side. So we'll see what's gonna happen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How's it going? I'm not complaining. Once you've found your balance, you can be content anywhere.
Can I see that book?
On this. Look at this.
Whenever you see this sign, I am your guardian angel. We, you and I, have a great mission. We shouldn't forget that.